So in Chapter 6, what we're going to start covering is the design and drawing of three-dimensional geometric objects. So up to now we had been only talking about two-dimensional objects for the most part. We had a small class exercise in drawing a three-dimensional object with lines and curves, which is somewhat difficult for us. But we're going to use some of these now what we call design features built into NX that provide us a really good tool to get our concept now from a sketch now to a three-dimensional drawing or object that we can really look at and rotate. So let's build a three-dimensional object. Right now I'm doing project 6.2.1 in your textbook. And let's just start with a simple sketch like we have been doing up to now. This sketch that I'm going to draw is a triangle, and it has some certain dimensions given in your text, and I can go ahead and specify some of those while we are practicing here. So you see I've left-clicked on our screen, and let's say, I think in the text it says that the length is going to be 5 units long, so let me go ahead and click 5 units long, and you see now that's the length of our line. Let me zoom in a little bit. The next line is also going to be 5 units long. And you see that a brown line appears at the midpoint of the bottom line, so I don't have to worry about aligning it. And the final point is going to be 5 units long as well. So now we have our shape. Let's go ahead and practice also the chamfer or the fillet function on this particular object to smooth the edges so it matches the picture in our text. So we'll select these two edges and we'll select a radius of 0.5. And we'll do this to all 3 different sides. Okay. And what I'm going to want to do now is go ahead and just finish this sketch. And you see now it's just a two-dimensional sketch of a smooth end triangle, similar to one of our in-class exercises. What I'm going to want to do now is I'm going to want to extrude this function. So extrude is a function that gets the shape and it pulls it out in a particular direction that we're telling it to. And in this case, it's going to be the Z direction. So it's going to extend the shape into the screen in the direction that is leading into the screen. So there's a few ways you can access the design, some of the design tools. One of them is through this toolbar here. You can see here's the extrude function. You can also access the menu for the design functions through Insert, Design Features, and we can pick any one of these. But all of those should be available here to you. Again, if you pick Advanced with full menus, which is what I am currently using. So let's go ahead and click our Extrude button. So when we click our Extrude button, it's going to ask us to select the curve that we want to extrude from. Let's go ahead and select this curve. And you see that we'll have a green check mark appear right next to each one of these check marks. Now, right now I'm using an inferred vector. So inferred vector means that the shape is guessing, or the computer is guessing, which direction I want to extrude this shape in. We can specify which direction if you want, about what axis. So this is positive z-axis, negative z-axis. Right now I believe it's set as the inferred direction is going to extrude it into the screen, so it's going to be a negative z-axis direction. That's just the default value for this shape. Okay. So let's get this centered. Now, let's tell this shape the limits that we'd like to draw this shape at. So let's tell it that we want it to start at a value or a distance from the plane of 1. Let's also tell it that we want it to end at a distance from the plane the XY plane of 3. And before we click OK, you can rotate this object and you can actually see where it's going to be drawing our particular shape. Okay? So let's go ahead and click OK. And you can see that it's drawn now our shape with a distance of 1 from the XY plane with a total distance of 3 from the XY plane to the top of this shape. So that's the first tutorial. So you can see now how we've gone from a two-dimensional sketch, which is seen here, now to an extruded three-dimensional geometric object. In the next few examples, I'm going to be giving you a couple more tools that you can use using this extrude function. And then we're going to go practice an in-class exercise where you're actually going to draw a pool rack which has a similar shape to this one that we've already drawn. But I'll go ahead and stop here, and in the next lesson I'll finish covering the other couple chapters dealing with the extrude function.